Ladies and gents, this improv story is based on an idea. Astronaut gets furloughed on moon. Let the story commence. There was an astronaut called Craig Hanrahan. He was American. And that's no canon, by the way. That's no canon. And he was we're doing a moon mission. He was to go to the moon. We're going to do another moon landing because everybody's gone on about the moon landing was fake and all this shite. No, that won't prove them wrong because this is a different moon landing. But let's just fucking go to the moon. Again, let's go to the moon. Right? We're all talking about going to Mars and all that. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there or there or there. We may as well just go to the moon because it's right there. And you can see it with your fucking eyes. Like you can actually see some detail. Right there. Got to go to the moon. And we're going to, you know, like just... As JFK said, we choose to go to the moon. We're going to go to the moon because we want to. Alright? I want to. Who remembers the days of just doing something because you want to? I don't have to explain a fucking thing. We want to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon and do other things. Well, they decided they're going to go to the moon and land on the moon. Just like the good old days. To cheer everybody up because of this whole fucking coronavirus thing. Let's go to the moon. So Craig was sent to the moon alone because the person he was going with got coronavirus. And there was another person, they got coronavirus as well. So he's going to do it himself. He was going to do it himself. They went, we have to stop the whole thing. And then somebody came along and said, no, he's going to do it. But you can't have it. You can't have it. You can't go by yourself. And then somebody came along and said, he must. The whole world needs this. He must. That one person gone will be a symbol of human endeavour. And sticking to fucking something. Saying you're going to do something and doing it. Everything's been cancelled. Oh, we can go it. No, we can't go it. Let's book that. Oh, can I? Holiday. Nope, can't do it. Let's say we're going to the moon and we're fucking going to the fucking moon. Some cunt's gone. And Craig decided, I'll go by myself. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. So Craig went to the moon by himself. And then he was getting on the moon. And as he was there, on the moon, he's coming down the wee steps. And they've upgraded, they've done a new version, like a kind of remix of the One Small Step for Man, One Giant Leap for Mankind. Because, if you remember, they fucked it up with the crackling thing. One small step for man, one giant leap. Like that. Of all the times to fuck it up, they've had to fuck that up. I personally would have went like that. Can you say that again? Can you say that again? It's just... You're the first person to ever fucking step foot... First human to ever step foot on the fucking moon. And you made a cunt of it. We've all made a cunt of it. Any chance you could just say it again? So I thought, right, we'll do this, say it again. So Craig was walking down the steps. And he's about to step on the moon. He gets a phone call. Gets straight into the helmet. Hi Craig, we're all watching. You're doing great. You're doing great. Now, due to the coronavirus, we are going to have to furlough you. Now, I know you're just about to go on the moon, and that's great, but the reason why we're furloughing you is because if we don't, we're going to have to pay the wages. And this is a fucking fortune, all this. The government will pay for 80% of this whole fucking thing we've done, providing we furlough you. You've got to be officially furloughed. And then the government will pick it up. But are the government no picking things up already? No, this isn't NASA. This is Tesla, remember? Oh, that's right. So we're no government. We're a private company. So unless we follow you right now, the government won't pay the 80%. So we'd want to take advantage of that. So what do you want me to do? What is it you want me to do? That's you. Just that's fine. Just we'll give you a shout when it's time to come back in. You want me to come back in? You want me to do what we want? Is anybody watching? Is anybody watching this on their tellies back down on Earth? No. We had to cut that because if we showed that, then that's you officially working. That's you working, so you're no furloughed, then we won't get the 80% money back for the government. This whole thing's costing 200 million. So if we let you just carry on with this and broadcast it, we're having to pay the full 200 million. But if we follow you right now, don't know if you know, but it's midnight where we need to do it. It's 11:59. We've got to do it right now. They're going to pay for 80%. So we only, instead of paying 200 million for this, we're actually in effect only going to pay 40 million, which is 20% of 200. The way you do it, actually take 10%, which you just divide it by 10 and then double it. Dead easy. We don't do the 80% thing in America, says Carecakes. They're on the moon. The moon's global. Anybody on Earth can at some point see the moon. That means it's global. If you know what I mean. So the American government is really, really complicated. There was treaties and things like that. See, Craig's actually of Scottish heritage and descent, and it's kind of complicated. All these rules came in, isolationism. We don't know that person. Let's, it's all horrible sort of stuff mixed with a bit of good stuff. Mixed, a bit of kind of one world good stuff, one world bad stuff. All sorts of things. This is in the future, remember. Everything's different. Anyway, so they said to him, so that's you. So we'll give you a wee call when it's time, when we need you again. But just to be clear, you're still employed, but don't do any work. So we'll give you a shout. So what do you want me to do? Just put your feet up. Will I come back? Will I do this? Is this being recorded? At least being recorded for later. We're not allowed to record it. All the cameras have been switched off. We've switched them off remotely. Right, I'll come back then. What if you want? But you can't use the don't use the company spaceship. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Don't use the company spaceship because that would be classed as working, and we wouldn't get the money. I don't know if this is a white. Craig just went like, I don't know if this is a wind up. Is this a joke? The company spaceship is the only spaceship I've got. Sorry, I'm just saying the obvious here. That's the only spaceship I've got to get back him. Craig, you're not allowed to use it. Or we will be having to pay on 160 million. If you use that, you will be sacked when you come home. Well, I don't care. I'm going to use it. If I get the sack, I'd rather be there than being left on the fucking moon. Just then, the spaceship just started to take off. and it flew away. Craig was left on the moon. His oxygen was starting to run out. He went for a walk. He thought, I'm fucked. Fortunately, he was quite close to the dark side of the moon. As in the other side of the moon. Which actually just happened to be dark at this time. Because remember, a lot of times, it's no dark. But it was a full moon on Earth, meaning the sun's completely shining on our side. But it was completely dark on the other side. Craig started to walk around. And it was completely dark. And he did think to himself, what's here at the dark side of the moon? What's here? You could get up to all sorts of things at the dark side of the moon they couldn't be able to see for Earth. He went round, and it was nothing. It was complete darkness. Complete darkness. But he saw a bunker. He thought, what's this? He went into the bunker, and there was a door. He opened that door, went down a concrete corridor to another door. He opened that door, and then there was this final door, and there was a wee gap at the bottom of the door, and there was like kind of smoke coming out, glowing smoke coming out like the fog. Sounds familiar. He opened the door. The fucking room was humming a hash. And there was a telly in the corner that was lighting up, you know, like making the whole thing glow. And there was 3 wee fucking hash-head aliens sitting there. One, the 3 of them looked different. They all looked different. One was your kind of communion type grey, slim, really skinny, sort of tall and all that. Slim as if it doesn't speak. The other one had 3 eyes and sort of like ears, like speakers, like they kind of like loudspeaker sort of fucking things, like a megaphone sort of ears. I like trumpets. And the third one just looked like it was all kind of hairy. Looked like a big sort of fucking like a big sort of bear, kind of tortoise looking thing. Angry looking. But it was actually, that was the first one to speak. That's the thing with a lot of these aliens. You see something, you go like, that looks like the scary one. They're no the bad ones. They're actually the friendly ones. Remember that whenever you're watching a science fiction thing, it's the really scary looking ones that are actually alright. The 3 of them looked at Craig, and they were about to knock absolute fuck at him. But they were stoned. So they just started laughing at him. They just started going like, who's this cunt? Who's this cunt? Hold it in, John! Hold it in, John, a wee bit longer! You take another one! Hold on! I can't get fucking busted! Hold on! Hold on! Hold on! Then let go! It's good, isn't it? Aye. Craig just fucking ran. He ran, but because he was on the moon, he was like running in the air, like a cartoon, like that, before they'd run away. But he was like that. And that just made the three aliens laughed. They laughed like fuck. They're just laughing. They couldn't believe it. Craig was sort of going upside down and things like that. You know, there's a bit of gravity on the moon, but if you do a jump in the air and then start going like that, you kind of float in the air for a wee bit doing that. Just then, Craig heard the spaceship return. And a loudspeaker went like that. Come in, Craig. Craig, you there? Craig went out. And the speaker for the thing, Anthony's member, he's got the thing, but he couldn't get in the reception down there. He had to go down to the light side of the moon. And they went, Craig, furlough's finished. Back to work. Back to work. Everybody's had enough of the lockdown. Loudspeaker in space. They created a slight atmosphere in order for sound waves to get through. Back to work. Craig got on, ran up the spaceship, and he was just about to get in the door and he felt a horn on his ankle like that. Turned around. The three wee guys, the aliens, weren't stoned anymore. But they didn't batter him. They just climbed on the spaceship and said, we're coming back with you. Don't tell any cunt. Craig heard in his earpiece, what was that? We heard voices. What was that there? And the three went like that. And another one went like that. And he had like on one horn, like it was like that. 10 fingers on one horn. That was his one horn, like this, look. On one horn, like that. One arm. Craig brought the aliens back to Earth. And unlike all these other fucking daft aliens that come to Earth, being all nice and peaceful and acting like either being peaceful or acting like they're peaceful and actually they're bad, they just went daft. All of them had different powers, kind of like Superman 2, the villains. They were like, teacher, look at this, look what I can do. Look what I can do to people, watch this. You know, just like fucking, like that, squashing people's heads like they were fucking grapes. The heads, like that. Like that. They managed to kill everybody on the whole planet by hand. Took them about 3 months. They killed everybody. By hand. No weapons. All by hand. Killed everybody. And they said to Craig said, what about me? And they went, we're going to make you're the king. We're away. So Craig was left on Earth, the king. King Craig. That's all he ever wanted. When he was wee, he was asked, what do you want to be when you're older? An astronaut or a king? Craig got both. In the end. King Craig. 420 out of 10. There we go. Thank you very much, everybody. So that's good. So it's good that the aliens, I don't know if it's because the 3 wee guys were aliens or because they were stoned, I'm not quite sure. Oh no, I'm saying it as if, I don't know why they left Craig. They killed everybody else. That must have sated them. Is that the word?